right, welcome back to episode 43 here of the Bullpen. Finished up our final showcase of the year yesterday with the Underclass showcase up at the Max. But I know you guys were up at that, so how's everybody doing? How's the event? I know we'll kind of get into it here later in the episode.
Good, Gavin. Yeah, I thought the Underclass Showcase was a really good event all around. Like, I felt like the talent was honestly well exceeded expectations going into yesterday. The bats alone, I felt like were some of the best bang for your buck from where we sit. Just a ton of talent, and I thought, it was a great way to cap the fall.
Yeah, pound for pound. I mean, it was great to see, like, the amount of talent that we got rolling through in these younger groups, especially, like the 28s. Like, we're already on future game watch, coming off the summer, like going into this coming year. So, I mean, there was definitely a follow or two from that event, just a small event at the end of the fall. Like, that's awesome to have, the pound for pound talent that we had. I was on the arms all day, and it was like guy after guy. I was like almost questioning my own like eyes. I'm like, am I seeing all this right? Like, another guy just popped up that was like really good. Like, it was just one of those days, but it was great.
I love it when, first off, like, capping the whole year that way is pretty cool. Like, we're done now for, 2025, our showcases. We'll be turning the page, looking at 2026 and our winter schedule and all of our February events, our preseason all-state. What I love is, like, there were a couple return faces, some that we knew better than others, and I thought all the ones that we thought were good continued to show really well, and then a ton of breakout guys. I don't know if we want to get into all the names now or maybe save it, but some 2029s, a couple 28s that maybe we had like heard the name, but getting an up close in-person look. And then just before this call, like breaking down the numbers, some of the hit numbers, average exit velos over 90 miles an hour, some huge max distances, really impressive stuff for the age of these guys being 2028s, 29s. You guys hit it on the head. Like, high volume of talent for the number of players there, and it was one of my most like just enjoyable events. Watching these guys take BP and perform the way they did, and then talking to you, Pete, like after the event about the number of arms that float over there, the Blake Harrises of the world, and some other guys as well. So awesome stuff, Gavin. Like a great Sunday, and it really like gets me excited and like gets me ready already for our February events. So yeah, really, really good way to cap the year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Sunday, Drew. On Sunday, we got to watch a Bears W again. I know we don't really get into it a ton right now. It's kind of our little thing. We're trying not to talk about it, but just they feel competitive again. I love Ben Johnson, and I know we've talked about it before, kind of beforehand, that we love those post-game little in-locker room videos of Ben Johnson talking to the team and stuff. So fires me up. Hopefully it continues to be a good year for the Bears.
Yeah, I think the majority of us on this call are pretty locked in on the Bears and pretty excited about what's going on. Obviously not perfect football, but man, it seems like they have the right guy at the helm, and it is so fun to watch. I get fired up, Gavin. Like the energy, the enthusiasm, the work that they're clearly putting in, week to week and fixing the running game and watching this defense play the way they are and flying around the football and the post-game stuff. Obviously, vibes are going to be good when you win 4 in a row, right? But it's just a different feel to them right now. And I know I was seeing a lot of things floating around, like the Bears were 4-2 last year. They're 4-2 this year. Like, okay, it's early, but every week, let's see what happens. The passing game continues to leave more to be desired. The running game was phenomenal. The Bears just stadium in general and like the crowd I thought was great. I didn't know what was going to happen yesterday. Looking at the weather going into the game, it was all rainy, windy, cold. First kind of cold game they've had at Soldier. And I say cold, it's nowhere near what it's going to be come December, January, all those. But no, great stuff, Gavin, and definitely locked in on what the Bears have going. I think the Blackhawks seem to be turning the page a little bit, coming off what the Cubs did in the playoffs. Like, man, it's been a grind for Chicago sports fans recently, and there's some like light at the end of the tunnel, and it's been really fun to see.
I would run through an unlimited amount of brick walls for Ben Johnson, and I like that video with Dennis Allen. I was just like, when they gave him the game ball, he gave his little speech. Like I was smiling on the couch. Like I just loved the way he said like some people don't want you or however he worded it, but like I want to be here. That just fired me the absolute heck up. And man, it's you can feel the shift and just like the vibe. Like they've won 2 games now that other coaching staffs in recent years lose 100%. They lose those games. There's just a definite vibe shift. Like even like giving up that touchdown at the end of the half, like other Bears teams probably just crumble and fall and like let it slip away. But they responded and then they just kept it out of reach the rest of the game. So I think there's definitely a shift, and it's really exciting to watch.
And I think it was on Friday night, playoff baseball in the NLCS, Dodgers and Brewers. I know it's not really relevant to our state, but just what Shohei did in that game was unreal. I was watching it a little bit up there, and Shohei was 3 for 3 with 3 homers and also threw 6 shutout innings on the mound with 10 strikeouts. Like, I think everybody's saying that's probably the most dominant performance in any MLB game ever, which is just nuts. It was just unreal to see him play like that, and it's just, I don't know, you can't even kind of describe in words how crazy it is, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that we have never seen a player in this era have as much control of the game as Shohei Ohtani has, not only at the plate but also on the mound. This is like Babe Ruth stuff, and I doubt Babe Ruth was pumping 100. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think you guys are spot on there. Like one of the home runs Shohei hit too, like it was a really good pitch. It was like in off the plate, and he just got the head out, somehow kept it fair by a mile, and just crazy stuff how talented that guy is. Hey, I know this isn't gonna air for a couple days here, but like Game 7 in the ALCS tonight, Monday night, that's really cool to see, to earn their right to go play the Dodgers and try to take them down with the Mariners and the Blue Jays. 2 organizations I think that are like hard to root against. Really love both stories, what they all have going for them. So this entire fall playoff baseball, as just a baseball fan, has been really cool to see. I wish the Dodgers Brewers series, maybe I'm different than a lot of Cubs fans, but like I wish it was more competitive. But regardless, like we're getting a ton of good games. That Mariners 8th inning home run, and then I think it was the Big Dumper hit the home run to tie it in the 8th, and then Eugenio Suarez goes grand slam opposite field. Like that place was electric. And I just love that as a sports fan. So it's been a really good month here watching a lot of entertaining sports, and it helps when the Bears are playing well too.
Drew, that Shohei home run that you were talking about,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he hit like 496 or 469 feet and like 116 off the bat.
He just walked him out of the stadium.
I was going to say that one was like disgusting to watch. I was like, oh my God, like that swing was insane.
What do you do as a pitcher? Like,
yeah. You quit.
Yeah. Or walk them, But totally, you guys, that's a great call out there, Gavin, bringing it up, because we are seeing a once-in-a-lifetime talent right now. And when you do that, like whether it's Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Shohei Ohtani, like you just have to marvel in the athleticism and just they're just such an outlier. Like you just don't see those, and it's really cool to see.
And I know people have always talked about like his contract that he just got with the Dodgers and how absurd it is, but I don't know how true this is. I saw a tweet like saying that basically the Dodgers already made back his salary in their like partnerships and deals and stuff over in Japan and jersey sales and things like that within the first year, I think it is, or something. So that's like nuts to think that it already has worked out in their favor, So
yeah, it made like so much sense from a money standpoint without even like getting like what he's putting on the field. You know what I mean? Like just with his fan base in Japan and like all the money he brings from there, like they were going to make their money back no matter what. So it just was an absolute no-brainer. Then I mean, like I wish the Cubs would have maybe seen it that way too, but I don't know.
Well, hopefully it's a wake-up call to these owners that when you pay these superstars, it's a good return on your investment. Because that's the whole thing. I saw like the Brewers are maybe shopping their starter. and like all they owe him is $8 million for next year. So maybe, hey, get him while it's hot and the team can control him for a year, and maybe you get more return on that. And the Brewers know what they're doing. But there is a ton of chatter about these organizations not paying players, and how, I saw a tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was a graphic with the payrolls and what these teams are bringing in and the differences. And it's like these teams that are paying, they're making a lot of money, but they're putting it back into their teams. And then all these other organizations are still making a lot of money, and they're just choosing not to put as much back into their teams. So it was really interesting. It was kind of an eye-opener to me. And I don't get into all that and what's going to happen in this next CBA and all, but I know there's a ton of chatter that it could be dangerous in the next, what is that, going into the 2027 season? So we'll see. Time will tell on that.
Do you guys have any other news-related items around that you've seen?
I think
lately?
A cool thing going on right now, and it's still undecided at this moment. Maybe it'll be decided in a couple days, but Tony Vitello. A couple Illinois guys down at Tennessee. You got Cameron Appenzeller over there. We've got some commits going to Tennessee. Ethan Moore's over there too, but Landon Tomey committed to Tennessee. Brady Bunick from Libertyville committed to Tennessee, and Tony V's shopping around with the Giants. The opening there, and there's a lot of rumors going back and forth. And the last I heard was Tony met with the team and told him, hey, like, nothing will be official unless you hear it from me first. So I think maybe it's 50-50, and the longer it goes on, the more likely it is that he stays at Tennessee. But I think it's really cool for the sport of college baseball. Like, the fact that a high-level college coach is getting that much attention at the big league level, not even to come as like a assistant or third base coach, but to be the manager of the Giants. Really cool for Tony. And I think it'll it's already made a ton of waves, but would be very, very interesting to see.
And I'm just curious if this starts becoming something we see more often now, potentially, like college coaches going straight to the big leagues. Like, I don't think it's really much of a secret now in the NIL era. Like, it's a little more like the pros, especially at some of those top tier programs like a Tennessee, those big SEC powerhouses that can give guys some cash to go play there. I'm just curious if, like, maybe this, even if Vitello doesn't end up taking the Giants job, if, like, there's a little bit of a domino effect in the coming years of guys getting pro jobs, because it's definitely unprecedented.
Absolutely. I'm very curious to see what this final decision turns out to be.
And I feel like this kind of came up a couple weeks ago, right? Like there was something on Twitter where it was kind of like a rumor, and I feel like some people maybe they kind of got dismissed or something, but then
I felt like it got laughed off.
Yeah.
Because is there another? There's the Giants are open, and is it the Rangers? There was another. He was like in. I heard his name.
There's quite a few open now.
Okay.
But I think the Rangers filled theirs.
Okay.
The Padres are open. I know that. Orioles are open. There's quite a few. But I'm not sure if he was mentioned for other ones. But there are quite a bit of MLB job openings right now for managers.
Would be hard not to look at just living in San Diego, coaching the Padres with that talent too. Wouldn't blame Tony at all. So
is Buster Posey like their GM now, or president of baseball ops or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and their top prospect is Drew Gilbert, right? Who played for Tony at Tennessee. Maybe he's not their top prospect. That might be aggressive. But just an up-and-coming young guy that brought a ton of fire to the clubhouse. And he did at Tennessee as well. And I know Tony, I was listening to a press conference or something that Tony had said a while ago and just credited Drew Gilbert for changing the entire complexion of like Tennessee and the future of Tennessee.
His walk-off grand slam against Wright State still haunts me to this day.
Yeah, he's an emotional player. It
was electric.
Yeah.
It just stunk. Being the local guy, I was obviously rooting for Wright State, but that was a memory that's ingrained in my brain.
But it will have huge ramifications, I would think, if he does end up leaving. Just what happens to the commits? Are they going to promote from within? Who all sticks with the commitments? Because, I mean, Tennessee's in a great spot right now, like all these SEC schools. But And I mean, shoot, we had Josh Reynolds on our podcast. He's at Tennessee right now. Like he's in the organization there. What happens? I have no idea, and I just think it's a really cool situation going on from afar.
Well, Drew, let me ask you this because you were the Division One coach on here. So if anybody would understand it on this podcast, it'd be you. So say he does take the Giants job. Are we still kind of far enough out from the regular season where like maybe Tennessee could go out and like get an outside hire for that? Or is it something where they're most likely gonna have to promote from within as just like an interim?
Um, I mean, whether D1 coach or not, I think it's completely probably just on Tennessee, and what they want to do and what they're comfortable with. Like, I don't know. I think any coach that's a Division One head coach right now at a mid major, like would look at Tennessee extremely hard, regardless of the time of year. Like you're talking about a huge salary. You're talking about walking into unbelievable NIL, the facilities that they've built there, the tradition now that they've built there, the success. So to me, it's a coveted job that they could probably do that if they wanted to. How would that affect the commits they have coming in? Are the commits, Coach Elander, the recruiting coordinator, like what's the relationship there with the players? I don't know that. Are they going to trust keeping Elander there, keeping the continuity that they have, the players they currently have? Because I heard if Tony left, these players would get a special transfer portal window, which I thought was interesting too. Because like every SEC school, every school in the country is going to be going after these Tennessee guys if that's the case. So like, I don't know. I think it makes a ton of sense if, Tony's assembled an awesome staff there at Tennessee to just keep the guys in place and to elevate Elander for the time being. But once again, I think that's just a whole nother dynamic piece to this puzzle that you bring up that I want to watch and see what happens.
Well, what do you guys got for some of these minor league notes? I know we were kind of talking last week about some names, and it looks like you kind of have some more names in there this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I some of this I hate to ramble, but I do think it's cool. And like last week, we brought up Tyler Schlafer, and how well he's been doing in the Cubs organization. He was a Homewood Flossmoor grad. One of the assistants at the time, Kevin Coe, ends up seeing what we posted, texts me. He's like, hey, like, giving me a little more info on this, because a lot of this I'm doing off the top of my head. But like HF that year, they ended up losing in the sectional final to Pravi, but they also had Isaiah Coupe on that team. Ends up going to Ohio State. Isaiah Coupe was a future gamer for us. And he's in pro ball right now. This year he was hurt a little bit, but like I went back and looked at his numbers last year in 2024 and they were crazy good. Just in pro ball, when you see strikeout numbers like this, he threw 86 innings pitched and he struck out 119 guys. Like that to me just jumps off the page as this guy's got dynamic stuff. He was a left-handed arm. So I thought that was really, really cool. And that was one of, HF's most successful teams they've had in, ever since I've been doing this probably. Coach McCarthy was there at the time. He's now at Lincoln Way East. But yeah, Kevin Coe was a part of that staff. And I really appreciated him reaching out and like giving me some more info, because that's what, like, we want to get it right. We want to put out as much quality, true information as possible. And Isaiah Coupe, I kind of forgot, about, like, dang, he was on that team too. So I thought that was really cool. Another guy, Ryan Smith, was at Nazareth, 2021 grad, kind of a part of like their ascension these last couple of years of being, pretty much state final contenders every year. Ends up going to UIC, gets drafted out of UIC. I think his velo shot up there in college as well. He was drafted in the ninth round by the Astros. He had a 3.13 ERA when I looked it up, 54 innings pitched, 56 Ks. Bright future there for Ryan. Drake Fellows was a guy that we hadn't really talked about. Caught my eye, and then as I'm digging into Drake, like looking at this stuff, he was a 2016 grad. Like I said, went to JCA, ends up going to Vanderbilt, gets drafted in the 6th round by the Padres out of Vanderbilt. I think now he's with Pittsburgh, but he's in AAA. He's a step away from the big leagues. Had 19 starts, 112 innings pitched, gave up 110 hits, 94 strikeouts. Like, that's a guy I'm going to just keep my eye on in case he gets a call up to the big leagues. But as I'm digging into the 2016 class, like, it was really, really good. And that's almost 10 years ago. I started here in 2015, in the summer of 15. So those 2016 grads were seniors when I started. So like I got just a brief glimpse of really getting to know these guys. But like Cooper Johnson, he's still in Pro Ball. He was our number one ranked 2016 at the time, went to Carmel Catholic, Old Miss. He was like the best defensive catcher I had seen, in my years of like coaching, getting into scouting. It was as big league catcher as it gets in high school. And I think when we discussed like player of the year this year, guys, for high school, and we're looking at all of the different options, like you had Jaden Fauske, you had Enzo Infelice, you had Brandon Shannon, you had Josh Holst, and then you had Quinn Shambo, and I'm probably missing a guy or two. But like a huge part of why Quinn Shambo to me deserved player of the year was what that Libertyville pitching staff did, but how good he was defensively. He was the best defensive catcher I've seen in Illinois since Cooper Johnson. And man, I think that should go a long way in our player of the year selection. Like that's something that, everybody's always looking at the offensive numbers, which were great for him. He had 446, but like, man, can that kid catch? And Cooper Johnson's still doing it in the minor leagues, in AAA. He got called up early in the year, had 10 doubles, 6 home runs. But then digging into like the 2016 class more, like Tyler Fitzgerald, he was our number 2 ranked player. He's been in the big leagues with the Giants. And you go further down the list, like, man, were there guys in that class. And I don't want to miss any. I'm sure I probably did, but like Brent Hedrick, Illinois State, Gavin. I know you know that name well. Like makes it to the big leagues. He was our number 12 ranked player. And then you got Garrett Acton, who made the big leagues this year, like from Lamont. Coach Storacco, I think, put a tweet out that I saw, like taking a picture with him before the game. I didn't even, know Acton was still like climbing the ladder in the minor leagues. That blew me away. Michael Massey, like brother Rice, left-handed hitting second baseman, went to Illinois, now with the Royals. Like he's pretty much everyday second baseman for the Royals. Drew Milas from Belleville East went to Missouri State. He's been in the big leagues with the Nationals. John Rave, Gavin, from Illinois State, another big leaguer coming out of there. Like really impressive stuff for me in the 2016 class. So that was just something that kind of stood out, and I wanted to bring up because we talk about like, hey, this, class, one of the deeper classes, and yeah, we think that at the time, but like, man, time will tell how good a class is. And looking back at that deserved a shout out to me.
Drew, speaking of Garrett Acton, I think I was a freshman in college maybe when he was at Illinois, and he was like their closer, and he was an absolute stud. I remember one of his last years at Illinois, and I used to like watch videos of him pitching all the time and like try and replicate, because I'm like, I want to be like, this is who I want to be like, because I was like our back end reliever when I was at Sandburg, and I was like, I want to be like Garrett Acton. Obviously never happened for me, but I always loved watching his videos.
That's all. I'm sure he would love to hear that some high school, college player was out there wanting to be like him. That's super cool. Definitely, like, you guys are different-handedness.
Yes.
But so I'm guessing you're talking like the way he handled himself on the mound, which I think speaks a ton about him too. Like clearly he was probably a bulldog, ultra competitive. So no, that's cool to hear.
Well, looking at some Illinois State games notes, up to 115 commitments now. Pretty cool to see, and I think we're going to keep just seeing that tick up, and really happy, honestly, that it provided the players with an opportunity to be put in front of coaches, to be seen. And obviously not all of those kids are probably committing just because of that event. There's probably a track record with some of these teams on those players, but just still really cool to see the opportunity that they're given. But last week as well, some big commitments coming through from our Future Games team. I know we saw Nolan Ramley decommitted from Kentucky last week. So what do you guys got? Who committed last week from that Future Games team?
Well, looking at we got 2 team select guys off the board. We got Omar Avalos from Father McGivney. He's going to SIUE, which is an absolutely perfect fit. That just made a ton of sense for me. Just like local, right in the backyard. I think he has a chance to impact that lineup at a young age, I would think. But And then Quinn Rooney, left-handed pitcher, first baseman, also can play outfield. Like 6'6", really athletic for the size. He's going to Notre Dame. He's from Bennett. He was a standout for me on the mound, and he also swung it well at that event too. But I mean, it's hard not to like a 6'6" lefty that can throw upper 80s, and that'll surely tick up really soon. If it,
Kind of
if it
capped
hasn't
off a
already.
really impressive year for Quinn.
For sure.
Helping
Oh,
lead
yeah.
Bennett to state as a sophomore. And like you said, like I think he's got true two-way potential. I don't think either of them are anywhere close to where they're going to eventually be. Like he's a really good runner for his size as well. Not a lot of swing and miss given the long levers. And then I know you were locked in on his outing at the Future Games and was super impressed on the mound. So, man, really happy for Quinn because I know he had a couple really strong suitors that were probably upset that he ended up committing to Notre Dame, but really good academic school and happy to see that for Quinn and excited for his future because like I said, he's so far from being to where his final product will be. Also, like you mentioned Nolan Ramley decommitting, and I think we put it in the tweet we put out there, or the post we put out there on X, like instantly becomes one of the top 2026s on the market. Like if you're looking for a guy with huge tools and like just all kinds of upside to the offense, man, I would be all over Nolan Ramley. Really enjoyed having him in the dugout too at the Future Games. I just think that's one out there that he should have a lot of attention now that he's back on the market.
Do you guys want to switch over to the hot list now and get this get the wheel going? See what we got.
Let's do it.
We got 4 topics left on our list that we made. So maybe
Are we allowed to know what the topics left are?
Sure.
Okay.
So today is going to be best base runner. However, Tyler, the topics left are best two-way athlete, best fastball, and just best athlete in general. So
Got it.
today is going to be best base runner, though. I mean, I got one, but Drew, get in there. In there.
No, I'm gonna have to think here for a second.
Yeah,
there's one that jumps off the page, but you could take them for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with infielder Gavin Michaels at Normal Community, committed to Cincinnati. I mean, what that kid does on the base paths is pretty unbelievable. He's obviously super fast, but I think the speed translates so easily to his base running. Like he steals bags for him. He basically can just impact the game in so many ways for Normal Community. And I think you guys saw him at a tournament in Rantoul or Milwaukee at the Rock, where Pete, I think you were the one locking in on the game, and it was like he got a single, stole second, stole third, ended up scoring or something like that. And I think that event was actually what brought him to the Future Games last summer. So I'm going to go, Gavin Michaels here. He's best base runner.
Yeah, I thought, Gavin, you brought up a great point with, like, he's got a good 60 time, but, like, really can also run the base. I think a lot of the time, kids get so wrapped up in what their 60 time actually is, and they think that just because they run a 6'7" or a 6'6", they're a good base runner. And in my opinion, that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, it's the jumps you get on the bases. It's the aggressiveness. It's the mindset. Like, Gavin Michaels is a guy that the moment the ball leaves his bat, he is thinking basically home run until somebody stops him. And that's what I love about him. Like, the nonstop trying to take the extra base. Always looking for that opportunity. His speed translates even more so on the field. Like, I think if he ran a 6'5", a 6'4", like, I would say his speed even plays up on the bases. That's how much I like the way he runs the bases, and it impacts the game. It's constant pressure, and I just think that's a great point. Because there's guys out there, in Illinois right now probably running a 7'1" but if you really put your thoughts and focus into how to run the bases, quality secondaries, how to cut a bag, reading balls off the bat and knowing if they're going to drop in the outfield or not. Like, you can be an elite base runner without having elite speed like Gavin Michaels has, but fortunate for him, he has elite speed and he's an elite base runner. So that's probably the best base runner in the state, regardless of class, that I've seen in a while. So yeah, get in there, Pete, though, on yours.
Well, mine kind of goes along that same tournament. Because there were two guys kind of going like head to head, like on who was the best base runner there. Jalen Valise from Yorkville. That dude is in the same exact boat. I mean, he is an absolute menace on the base paths. Great jumps, and it's like confident jumps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he reads it well out of the hand, can see it in the dirt before it actually gets there. Gets great jumps. Always looking to get that extra 90 feet. And, I mean, the speed plays up everywhere. He's an absolute game changer. Same as Gavin. And those are just two guys that are, I mean, got to be absolute nightmares for opposing coaches. And those are guys you definitely want in your lineup, towards the top of that lineup. And they're going to, continue to do that throughout the ranks. And it's just going to be a huge asset to have moving forward for whatever teams they go to.
Yeah, I'm going to go with senior future gamer Patrick Connors. Looks like I took Drew's. My bad. I got to see it not only down in Georgia, but also he was on my field during during state games. Not only does it play in the outfield, but what he does on the base pass is even bigger. He's just a threat. You can see it in his eyes. It's always an option, no matter what situation, whether it's going to second or third. If Drew, you have any more on him, chime in. But that
no, I think I think you're spot on. Like, to me, it's Gavin Michaels and Patrick Connors are like the two best base runners in that senior class that I've seen. I think Pete's got a closer look at like Jalen Valise at the Rock and stuff like that. But from what I've seen, I love Patrick Connors. And then the numbers don't lie either. Like, he was an all-stater for us. He stole 44 bags in the high school season, which, I mean, you're averaging but he's basically stealing a bag and a half a game. If you look at how many games high school teams play, like, it's really impressive. Boston College, and big fan of just the way Patrick Connors plays the game in general. I think he's a football guy too, and like that, I could easily see it because it's that same aggressiveness, always looking to take the extra base. He understands what makes him good, and he wants to show it off. And I think that's a huge attribute for him as well.
I'm going to hop in here. Drew, I see a name you're hovering over. I'm not going to take yours. I do like where I think you're going with this, but he just committed. I'm going with Omar Avalos. This is a kid who's been doing it since I've seen him when he was 14. He was on my junior future games team. The kid is just fearless on the bases too, and it's not like that reckless like stupidity on the bases. Like, he's fearless and he's confident on the bases. Hammett, you were just talking about that. Like, you have to have confidence to steal bags. This past spring, he stole 33 bags, was only caught stealing once. So we've kind of talked in the past about how he's a table setter at the top of a lineup. Like, that kid gets first, high chance he's going to take second. Like, a walk kind of turns into a double with Omar. So we already talked on it, but like, to piggyback off what you said, Hammett, like, I love that he committed to SIUE. I think that's such a perfect fit for both sides. So I'm going with Omar here.
These are all awesome call-outs. I'm debating between a couple, but yeah, my first two picks were stolen. I really liked Adam Kozak and what I saw out of him at the senior future games, committed to Lewis. And, base running wise, I don't have as much history on him as I do on Gavin Michaels and Patrick Connors, and actually seeing them consistently go, first to third or steal second, then the next pitch stealing third. But the times down the line for Adam Kozak were elite. Left-handed hitter. I think he was a football player, maybe still is. Don't quote me on that. But like, consistently, like 409s down the line. Like 411 down the line on ground balls. And that's pretty elite for a high school player. So really like what Adam Kozak brings to the table from a speed perspective.
Yeah, I'd love to shout out, and I'm sure Tyler, you can get in on this too, but Carver Cone. I mean, that dude's just so much fun to watch. Watch him play the entire game. But once he gets on the base pass, you can't help but smile. I mean, like, when I was coaching first base at the super sophomore games, and like anytime he got on first base, I was like, all right, here we go. And he would just kind of give you that look, like, he's like, I'll see Tyler in a second, because Tyler was at third base. Like, he just knew he was going to get there somehow. But man, that kid, I mean, same thing, like, great reads, unbelievable speed. switch hitting center fielder. Like, that kid has a super bright future.
Well, and he hey, I'm going within the first couple pitches. Like, if this guy that I'm facing like doesn't have a good move, and if this catcher's arm isn't an absolute rocket launch, like, I'm going. Another dude who's super confident with everything he does on the baseball field. But it's a great shout out, Pete. I was eyeing him.
All right, and like I mentioned here at the beginning, you guys had the Underclass showcase yesterday, and you guys were up there for that. Sounds like it was a pretty good event. I don't know if you guys want to talk through some players that you saw, just kind of before we get some of this post-event content out.
Tyler, can I steal my 2029? All right, because there were a lot of guys to mention, plenty of guys to call out. One guy I did not know before the event was Mason Nashif. He's a 2029 at Burlington Central infielder, and what I loved about it was he's a freshman and probably had a very similar body type to like what I had as a freshman. He is undersized, so far away from where he's going to eventually be one day. But man, can he get the bat going. Like, those undersized guys that aren't physically mature yet, that can swing the bat with some whip and some bat speed and some thump off the barrel, like, that just tells me it's only going to get even more electric as he gets older. And it wasn't like over swinging. It was on time, on the barrel, like really good barrel feel and launching balls to the gaps. Love the presence in the box as well. And then you watch him float around the infield and it's like, man, this kid has a chance. Really rangy, could play on the move, had some body control, turned the double play like with some fluidity. Really liked the showing for Mason Nashif. That's the one guy I want to call out to start it off.
No, I love that shout out. Watching him hit, it was like, this kid doesn't really look like a freshman, just in the box, like, just kind of the moxie I felt like he was giving off. But two guys I want to shout out, both are Marian Catholic guys. This was a team I was pretty bullish on after I saw them this past spring. Super young team last year. They were like all freshmen and sophomores, and a pair of those freshmen who are now sophomores were at this event in Bronx DeBerg and Lacey Rogers Jr. Drew, I was fired up after Bronx's round. I came right up to you because this was a kid who's starting at shortstop as a freshman for Marian Catholic this past spring, and I really liked it on the infield. When I saw it in game, I felt like the bat had a little bit of ways to go, but then watching him here, I was like so excited because I felt like the way he was handling the bat, I felt like it was a very mature round of BP. He wasn't, again, another guy who wasn't over swinging. It was just line drives. And then Lacey Rogers Jr., that kid's got some juice off the bat. I don't have his exact numbers right in front of me right now, but just some of the balls that were coming off his bat, it was like, whoa. So just two guys, man. Marian Catholic, for me, looking ahead to this spring, that's a team to watch.
Yeah, well, and then you factor in Jazaris Mackmore that they have over there. It's exciting, you know, these young players coming through a program that will be follows, whether it's, you know, future game follows or Illinois State game follows, who knows? But man, they've got some young guys to be excited about. You mentioned Bronx, like, I thought it was super compact and repeatable, really balanced. And was a big fan of the hit tool in general. And then Lacey, what I loved about him was in between, you know, getting a showcase setting, you get these pitches down the middle. Guys can kind of swing, not get set, rush a little bit. Like, he slowed it down in the box and was like, there was a very intentful approach to his round of BP where every single swing, he was making sure his setup was exactly the way he wanted it. And he's going to launch some balls. Because when he got that pitch in the sweet spot that he was looking for, like, it was loud and it was into the pull side gap. And I right there with you, Lacey was definitely a standout for me as well. I want to shout out another guy because we saw him in the fall up at the Rock. I saw the tweet. I think I shot it around to the guys. Just like, man, that swing was really interesting, and I really liked the body type and the way he ran out of the box. And it was Jacob Height at St. Lawrence. He took one of the most professional, polished rounds of BP for me at that event. Like, it was super easy. The bat is really level through the zone. He's probably 6'1", 170. At least I need to pull up the profile to look, which I have right here, so I might as well do it. If my computer would load, that would help. But the body type looks right, and like there's gonna be way more strength to come. It's kind of a wide-shouldered, high-waisted frame, but it was easy. It was backspin to both gaps, and really like I just think it's a big-time hit tool. I think there's going to be some power that he's going to tap into. He ran a 7.10 at the event, and then you look and you break down the numbers. Like he averaged 90.4 off the bat during his round. I think he launched one 340 plus as far as his max distance is concerned. And then Pete, I think you liked him on the mound as well.
Yeah, I absolutely loved him on the mound. He's a really, really good mover, clean mover with a quick arm. Really stood out just without even looking at the TrackMan. I was in. But it was 3 pitches for strikes, like very polished, and he was up to 82. Really, really eye-opening day for me with him on the mound. And I know a lot of these guys I have were like two-way guys. So I don't know. Do you want me to just like riff on a few and we'll see if we line up with anybody? Or are you
I love the call out because the guy I wanted to mention is Jenner Smith from Hershey. We currently have him in the rankings. He continues to show better. Like I don't know if he just keeps growing, but the frame stands out every time I see him. And he hit right before Jacob Height. And I really liked Jenner Smith's round. And I think that's what spoke so much to me about Jacob Height was his round was just as good. And they were 2 of the better rounds of the day. But, man, Jenner Smith, same kind of ease that Jacob gets. Like, the ball jumps off the bat. It's electric hands. And, really liked it on the mound. I saw him warming up over on your mound. And it's clean, and it looks like there's a ton to dream on there.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he's like 6'2", 170, but could even be taller than that now. And I'm sure he's going to continue to get taller. But, yeah, really easy to like the way that kid moves down the mound that you can project on. A lot more velo to come there. And he was up to 84.5, which was a PB for him. So to be PBing in the fall at an event in front of us is really cool. I always loved that. But sticking with a teammate of him that I know you guys liked at the plate as well, JD Farkas. He's a rock tournament all-star. Like he's always shown well for us. But he's extremely polished with 4 pitches. All in the zone, all have good action, and he's up to 84 as well from the left side, and he's just a proven in-game performer. Big fan of that kid. I know he was one of the kids that we'd mentioned, like the rankings went to 50, he's probably 51, and he could easily be in the rankings. Like it's just, the back end of those rankings are tough, but we are definitely very high on JD Farkas.
And I'll say this, after his showing on Sunday, like it's going to be hard to keep him out of the rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think you spoke like about how much he's performed in game, and it's so easy to see. It is a super simple setup. It is a highly repeatable swing. Once again, kind of like Jacob Height, like backspinning balls to both gaps. He was hitting it where it was pitched. Like it was not a pull-heavy approach. Let the ball travel, like very mature. Huge fan. And you want to, like, Hershey's another school. Like, you got 2 2028s like that, you better believe we're going to be out to see those guys in the spring and see what they're doing and the progress that they're making coming off this event in the winter.
Well, real quick, Drew, you or him it maybe earlier, like, just kind of talking about, like, the follows we're going to have from this event. I feel like looking ahead to preseason All-State this winter, like, so many of these guys that were at this event yesterday, like, they're a bunch of these guys are probably going to get invites to All-State. Like, just, again, super excited coming off that event yesterday. Like, it was so good, I thought. And just really, really looking forward to preseason All-State now with this group.
Well, and I'm gonna get in here because I couldn't agree more. Like, these guys earned invites just with what they did. And I think it's, like, a lot of them made very easy decisions for us. Sam Steele, like Naperville North, I'm an alum from there. You'll have to research what year because it'll date me way too much. But no, Sam Steele's a guy that we've heard a lot on, just like kind of rumblings on him. I hadn't really had an in-person look, but he averaged 93.3 off the bat. Ran a sub-7. Like, there's tools there. It was loud coming off the bat, too, with pretty easy hand speed. Really like Sam Steele and what he brings to the table. Naperville North coming off a big football win too that got me fired up, beating Lincoln Way East. I think the tweet that I saw was like gave Lincoln Way East maybe their first loss in the regular season in the last 4 years or something. Which, man, shout out Lincoln Way East. They got a juggernaut going on over there as a football program. It seems like. But yeah, Sam Steele, one of the guys that I thought showed the best on Sunday, or at least really made a loud impression, I guess I should say.
Speaking of Lincoln Way East, I got a guy that I came away really liking, and I know you guys mentioned you liked him too with the bat, but Keegan Crabtree, 2028, 6'1", 155. Just really liked the way, just another common theme, loved the way he moved down the mound. The frame looks right, and he was up to 82. Then I saw him, he had stayed late to catch some pops down the second from those catchers, so I always love to see that, and the actions looked pretty good from what I saw briefly.
I love that, Pete, because that was something I was going to mention, was like a lot of these infielders, they took infield defense before the catchers, before the first baseman, and there were like 6 guys that wanted to hang out and help turn double plays with the first baseman, catch pops, and that just shows me they loved being there, and like they weren't in a rush to get out. Like there was a Bears game they were probably trying to get to watch and all that stuff. So Keegan Crabtree, though, like really stood out to me turning the double plays, and I try to tell these kids, like, man, we watch everything. Like we watch the way you stretch. We watched the way you warm up and play catch, but the way he was turning double plays with the first baseman, I almost was like, hey, Keegan, we need you to like take a breath, like, and let the first baseman get back to the bag, because it was game speed and he was putting something on the throw and it was a quick release and I loved it. Like he took it serious and it was game speed. And man, for a 2028 to have the actions he has, the arm strength that he has across the diamond. We mentioned Lincoln Way East 2027 class a ton. Like that's a 2028 that's right behind them that I think is just going to be a guy to follow here. Pretty strong follow moving forward.
I still got like 5 guys to talk about.
Let's go.
But yeah, let's go with Blake Harris right now from El Paso Gridley. So he made the trip like an hour and a half on a Sunday. 6'6", 209. It was absolutely electric. He's up to 88, which is a tie, I believe, a tie for the PB for him. But man, does that fastball come out good, and does it look right on the mound? Like, he is intimidating. He is right at you. He's a good mover, especially for the size. And the curveball flashed like really good shape and really good action. So he's one that we for sure need to keep close tabs on moving forward. And I know he was a two-way too, I believe, right? I saw him over at first base. So I'm not sure how he did over there.
No,
but
state gamer. I mean, it's super loud on the mound. So pump for Blake Harris. And El Paso Gridley, like that fires me up. One of my favorite arms I've scouted since doing this, Nathan Lavender, who ended up going to Illinois. I think he was hurt this past year, but he's made some waves in the minor leagues. He's another El Paso Gridley grad. So I don't know what they got going down there, but I love it, and I love the Central Illinois small town guy that's got just a ton more to tap into.
Totally. My last 2028 that I have is Colton Carpenter from Normal U High. Just a really clean, polished pen from him. It's 4 pitches with a really clean arm. He was up to 80 miles an hour. So I mean, just one to follow. I mean, Normal U High, they got talent rolling through there, so he'll be a nice addition moving forward and a nice young arm to watch for them. But 2029s that I wanted to mention really quick. Ben McNair, brother of Sean McNair, who's going to Lafayette, a really talented southpaw. But he had a really impressive pen. He was up to 81 miles an hour. He's an athletic mover. And he showed really good feel to spin a curveball that looks like a potential outpitch for him. So he'll be one to watch. And then Ben Sutphin from New Trier. Really like the mover. Again, common theme, but natural cut on the fastball. Came out really good with it was like a true cutter. And I don't know if he was trying to do it or not, but it was up to 81 miles an hour. And a promising curveball that I think should continue to get better and be a nice addition to him, to his arsenal.
I got a 2029 here that, man, if you look at the stat sheet, like he's so far from like where his tools will be, the exit velo, that sort of thing. But Dylan Ryan from Jacobs was a left-handed hitter that I could not have loved like the setup and the presence in the box anymore. And then the way the swing worked, like he's going to be a top of the order 9-hole type guy for Jacobs, down the road, or at least that's kind of where I envision the swing type, and the type of hitter he is. But I loved it. Like he was on the barrel on time, and I just think that's a guy that in my own, like I'm gonna follow him because if as he grows and gets stronger, like with the barrel feel that he has, with the presence in the box, the way the swing works, like that's gonna be a hitter that I think is gonna have a chance down the road. We could keep going on and on because I thought every left-handed hitter there was very intriguing, Tyler. And just like we said, to kind of start the show off, like just a great way to cap the year. And it was really enjoyable watching these guys like kind of put on a show.
All right, and then looking at our Illinois State games scouting reports now, going to the infielders this week. What do you guys have? I'll let you any of you can kick it off if you want. I can go last here.
Well, so we're going to go down the list of classes, right? So we rolled out a 26 analysis, a 27, a 28, and we're going to try to find like the event's loaded. There's 250 plus position players probably. A lot of guys get ranked from the infield analysis, and then a lot of guys don't. And there are a ton of good guys that aren't ranked. So I think for me, like going through the list and finding some guys that weren't ranked is what I'm trying to do here. Do you guys want to lead it off? Do you want me to? I mean, I can take a very easy one. What do we got?
I'll lead it off, and Gavin's probably gonna come in here and like yell at me because I'm probably messing this all up. So you actually used this same player. I think it was you, Gavin, for catchers, but I also saw him on the infield. Is that allowed? Okay. All right. I'm getting the thumbs up. I'm going Lucas Faraball out of Ottawa. On my field, he hit a homer, and it was like a no-doubter out to left down in Rantoul, and I just really like his at-bats. I want to say I had his team for 2 or maybe all 3 of their games. But this is a kid on the infield, too, can really hold his own. He's reliable, and then he's also very accurate. So I really like Lucas Faraball from this event, so that's going to be my 2026 infielder I want to give some love. Still uncommitted.
I'll go with a guy that committed right after the event, with AJ Runkle, Illinois Springfield commit. This is a guy that in game was showing some power. He took a curveball to the right center gap, and also he had he's a big body, also a two-way, but he ran a 7.1960, which is an impressive speed for his size. So a shout out to him. Once again, impressive power, interesting two-way to keep an eye on, and a good get for Illinois Springfield.
I mean, I'll get in here. I'm not.
Yeah, get in there. I'm opening it up to you guys.
All right, I'll go with infielder Gavin Fiscone from St. Charles East. He's 2026. Also a pitcher as well, kind of like Dane just mentioned there with Runkle, I believe. But Fiscone is 6'5". At the state games, he ran a 6.82. 95-mile-an-hour EV at the plate, right-handed hitter. I thought the swing was pretty easy during his round of BP. Defensively, it's pretty steady, and 87 miles an hour across the infield. So, Gavin Fiscone, 2026 from St. Charles East.
Pete, you can get in here and take a guy if you want, but Gavin, I was going to bring up, we were talking about commits earlier. One guy I don't know if we brought up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he deserves like a huge shout out is Sammy Atkinson, committed to Heartland. I feel like when we've talked about, I think last podcast we talked about like guys that made a big jump this year. Like, man, I thought Sammy had a great 2025. Commits to Heartland. That's where his brother started off. Had a ton of success down there. So to see Sammy kind of following in those footsteps and see Sammy really coming into his own has been fun. Well, I'll stick on Pravi because I like Bryce Tenza. Massive human being, plays football. I think right now, like maybe figuring out what he wants to do in college. You guys may know more on that than me. Maybe he wants to be a football guy, has a couple offers. But like he's got huge bat speed. I was looking at the numbers, like it's top of the scale, averaging 73.6 miles an hour bat speed. and just a super imposing presence in the box, and could impact Providence's lineup this year. And, first base type, but curious to see what happens to Bryce, just as far as what he does in college, if it is baseball, if it is football, and wanted to give him a little love.
Yeah, I'll cap things off here. Justin Geese from Yorkville, someone that I came away liking a lot in the spring, and he's not someone that's going to really like wow you in a showcase setting. He's a guy that you got to go watch play. He's a gamer. He's scrappy, left-handed hitter. Kind of got that wider like spray bat to ball approach. And he's on the barrel. He's a good table setter. And I really like him on the infield. He's a perfect like second base profile. 7-1 runner. I just love watching that kid play the game. Scrappy little left-handed hitter.
And then looking at 27s, Pete, since you went last, if you just want to stick off mute and get in there with your 27.
Yeah, we're doing a snake draft. I'll take it.
Yeah, go for
I'm going with James Abaldo from Fenwick. Just a guy that our whole staff has really been a fan of, dating back within probably it was that last fall we first saw him. Really love the actions on the infield. Very confident with bounce. I mean, and the arm will play too with quickness to the release. But the swing, I mean, he just continues to get stronger. He's up to 93 for the EV in that event. Was on the barrel with consistent feel pull side in his round, with some line drives. And the swing is ultra fluid. Really looks the part on both sides of the ball. And the 60 continues to get better as well. He's a 707 runner now, so you can expect that to be probably sub 7 by the time it's all said and done, when he's moving on to college. But, man, I mean, our whole staff, we're all big fans of JJ.
Yeah, he homered on my field, so that's a great shout, Pete. So, man, if he can start tapping into some power, I think it's going to make him even more attractive for those schools at the next level. But I'm going to go with Grant Statler. Speaking of dudes who just, I'm taking all the guys who like homered on my field, it feels like, but Grant Statler out of Hananiga is how I was told it's pronounced by our very own Mike Anderson. So just want to throw that out there to anybody who's been listening from that area, and we've been butchering it this entire time. Yeah, same.
I bet. So Hananiga?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Hananiga. So Grant Statler, he's a left guy, so on the infield he's a first baseman, but left-handed hitter, and it's a pretty smooth swing. I feel like it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. Like I said, he left the yard on my field, but he's 5'11", 167. I think the frame's very there's more room to go there for sure. He's not anywhere close to being a finished product physically. And then in BP he had a 95 mile an hour max EV. And also like he's a very talented arm on the mound as well. So I don't know if we're gonna get there in the 2027s. He might be a guy one of us picks from this event, but yeah, going with Grant Statler here.
No, I like that. Tons of just arm talent on the mound. I had a bunch of names listed that I was gonna, choose from, but one name that I think really kind of put his name on the map for us, and me especially, is Max Judge at Hinsdale Central. I just talked about Bryce Tenza. Oh, I think I took names. But, I talk about Bryce Tenza having huge bat speed. Like Max Judge for a 2027, his 73 average bat speed, which is top of the scale when you look at our tier system on the profiles. And then you look at his batted ball metrics on TrackMan during the BPs, averaging 90.8, 101.6 max, and a 370 max distance. Like, there are not many 2027s in Illinois that have that kind of batted ball metrics. Can play corner infield. Saw him over at third making a couple routine plays during the state games. That's a guy I'm going to follow here moving forward.
All right, I'm going to go with infielder Austin Rutter from Sacred Heart Griffin. He's a 2027 that I saw throughout the spring, a couple games for SHG, and Dane, I know you saw them quite a bit as well. He's playing second base for them, but I just like his left-handed swing. It's pretty easy, fluid, and loose. He's a 6'8" runner as well. I think he's a steady defender on the infield. But Austin Rutter there, Sacred Heart Griffin, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do a double feature here. I'm gonna go with Madden Katz. He impressed during the game. I think had at least 2 of his games. In game, he was just lining balls to all parts of the field. During the workout, he had a 356 max batted ball distance, but he also tested well. He had a 6.91 60 and a 24-inch vert. Very interesting. And then I'm also going to go with Jaden Barrage. He's a guy that I saw during sectional play or regional play during the spring. He's a physical third baseman who can also play some corner outfield. Just another physical bat to keep an eye on in that 27 class.
Do you care if I get in on one more 2027?
Do it. Let's see it.
All right. Just because, like, going through, I had a lot of the names that you guys had listed down, but there's one guy that, especially after watching the video again, Evan Daxenbickler at Limestone, I really like the left-handed swing. He's a strong, like, kind of, I don't know if muscle bound is the right way to put it, but he's got some strength in the frame. And then the way the swing works is it's loose. It looks like it stays through the zone a long time. And I just think it's a really good hit tool. It's a left-handed bat, a guy that plays the infield. He's a really good follow for me down there out of Limestone.
All right, Dane, what do you got for your 28 class here? Just go with one, so you're not taking anybody's. Just go with one for now, and at the end you can riff on a few.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna stay in Central Illinois. I'm gonna go with Brady Jones if I can find him. Hold on, Brady Jones. He's a guy that impressed the entire staff throughout the 2-day event. He's a guy that the staff has been on for a long time, but he answered some of the questions we had about him heading into state games. This is a guy that's a two-way follow for sure. Can get on the mound, can be a mid-80s arm. I talked about him before during the two-sport section, I believe, last week. But once again, this is a guy that I really like in the 28 class.
All right, I'm going to hop in here with middle infielder Ryder Renette from Dunlap. He continues to be one of the favorites in the class. That left-hand swing, it's just easy, loose, he's on time. And I think during his round, it looked like he was kind of consistently on the barrel. And the thing with him is he's, maybe not super strong yet. The power's not there. But I think as he continues to develop, it's just going to only get better. He's only going to get stronger. Defensively, he's a clean middle infielder. Good arm across the diamond. And he's a good basketball player as well. Kind of one of those two-sport athletes. He was the point guard last year for Dunlap as a freshman. And I'm sure, again, he's going to be the same. I think he averaged like 15, 16 points a game last year. I'll have to double check to see the facts on that one, but I know it was double-digit scoring last year for Dunlap. So Ryder Renette, Dunlap, middle infielder.
Pete, I got a guy that I don't think you're going to take, but I'm going to let you go first then.
No.
I'm pretty confident.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with Cameron Cox.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I know you like him, but Montini, I mean, we've talked about him before. Probably my favorite glove in that class. Like, he's going to be a middle guy moving forward. Could probably stick on the left side of the infield. I would think he's got plenty of arm strength for it. The foot speed continues to get better. But I just love the way that kid roams around the infield. He looks like a guy out there. The frame continues to trend in the right direction, and so does the bat. So just continue to come away liking that kid every time I see him.
Yeah, he kind of fits what I was going to talk about with my next guy, because I think he's one of the top just natural infield defenders in that 2028 class, Cameron Cox. It's smooth, it's steady. But Landon Meisenbacher at Pleasant Plains, every time I see him, I like it. It's hard to find natural shortstops, in the Midwest. Shortstop, second basemen that can actually stick there at the next level. And Landon Meisenbacher, I love the way his feet work on the infield. Really, really natural, steady infield defender that's got all the actions. The bat just continues to get better with plenty more to come. And I love everything about the kid. I love the way he plays the game. And I want to buy stock in Landon Meisenbacher.
All right, I'll come out of timeout now. Honestly, didn't think some of these names would still be here for me. Hammett, loved the Cameron Cox shout out. That was number one on my board here. But I'm going to go with Nicholas Chirotto out of Edwardsville. Younger brother Joe Chirotto, who's now down at Alabama. Listen, This kid got innings on the infield at Edwardsville as a freshman. It's one of the best programs in the state. Kind of tells me all I need to know about the kid, right? That's an infield that had a Lucas Krebs and a Hunter Ball. So for him to even see innings with that squad this past spring says a lot about him. But at this event, he barely got out. Was really holding his own in the box. Has the actions to pair on the infield. Like that kid's gonna stick on the dirt, I think. 6'8" runner, just a total gamer, which kind of the same vibe we've always had of his older brothers. So I'm sure that kind of gets passed down through the grapevine. But we also have him at number 15 in the state. Really talented arm as well on the mound. So I think he's not even close to scratching the surface of his ceiling on either side of the ball. So that's just a guy I think our whole staff's excited to see how he continues to develop.
All right, that'll wrap up episode 43 here of the Bullpen. Appreciate you listening as always. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
For those who know, it's time now to subscribe. Hit that button. Tell your friends. Tell anybody you know. We could use all the help we get. We really appreciate you guys listening. But make sure you subscribe. Let's get those YouTube numbers going, and appreciate you guys.